Welcome to my YouTube channel, that is Math Success Point. Once again we are here to discuss the different types of important questions related with the vector algebra, because this chapter is very important and it is correlated with the three-dimensional geometry. If you will do properly the questions, properties, definitions of the vector algebra, then there will not be the problem to find out the solution of the questions in the three-dimensional geometry. Okay, and let me discuss first of all how to find out the area of the parallelogram when two adjacent sides or two vectors, non-zero vectors will be given, and which will represent to the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. You must have to keep in mind adjacent sides of the parallelogram, whose initial adjacent side means initial point should be same of both the sides, both the vectors. Okay, that is why I have taken the two vector A and vector B, non-zero vectors and non-parallel vectors. You must have to keep in mind non-zero vectors as well as non-parallel vectors. Let me draw the figure first of all, which will play the very important role. This is suppose vector A, and this will be the vector B. I am just going to draw the figure, that is O, and this will be the point A, it will be point B. Let me complete the parallelogram, okay? Because you know this is the angle between two vectors, that is vector A and that is vector B. Let me draw the perpendicular. You see the direction of this vector will be from O to B, and this is suppose point D. I am taking, this is perpendicular, okay? And you know, let me find out the thing first of all, how by using the definition of the cross product of two vectors, that angle between these two vectors, that is theta. And let me take by the definition, because I want to tell you the very important result related with this one, so that you will not forget. And this is multiplied by the unit vector. Okay, if on both the sides you will take the magnitude, because generally the student commits the mistake in such type of things. And on both the sides means already the magnitude of vector A and B, that is given magnitude of sine theta, that will be sine theta itself, and here the magnitude of unit vector will be equal to 1. That is why its value will be magnitude of A into magnitude of B sine theta. Generally the student commits the mistake, that is why, my dear student, you see it carefully. Magnitude of A cross B will be equal to magnitude of A into magnitude of B into sine theta. Okay, its value we will use this thing, because the same result we will use. Okay, now you see area of the parallelogram, area of the parallelogram, area of a parallelogram. How you can find out the area of the parallelogram? Area of the parallelogram, it will be equal to area of the parallelogram as per the geometrical figures, that is base into height. Base is what? OA. Into height. Height is what? BD or DB. BD, that is height. And one more thing I will tell you here, please. You see here sine theta in this triangle OBA. In triangle OBD. Sine theta. You tell me sine theta will be equal to perpendicular, that will be BD upon OB. I have taken only the magnitude scalar quantity of this one. Then BD will be equal to OB sine theta. OB, it is the scalar quantity, and you can change it into vector quantity like that. Its magnitude will be vector OB, magnitude of vector OB. OB vector, that is represented by vector B. You can write like that. Sine theta, it is the value of BD. BD, in place of BD you will have to use this thing. Okay, it will be equal to OA vector. I will write, because it is the scalar quantity. Let me change it to the vector form, and it will be vector A, and BD, the value of BD will be equal to B sine theta. You see, it will be equal to, see my dear student, that is the magnitude of vector A. This is vector A, because OA vector will be along with this OA vector, that is vector A, and it will be vector B sine theta. As per the definition, just before I told you the thing, because in place of magnitude of A into magnitude of B, sin theta it will be equal to magnitude of A cross B. By using the result, by using this result, we got this thing. This is the formula. This is area of parallelogram. Area of parallelogram. What parallelogram? O A. Let me take this point C. O A C G or O B C A. That is the area of the parallelogram. Area of the parallelogram, the magnitude of it, cross product of this vector, that will be equal to the area of the parallelogram. Okay, let me take one question related with this one, related with the parallelogram, because already we got the area of the parallelogram. Area of the parallelogram. We got the area of the parallelogram. Let me take the question related with this figure. Area of the parallelogram. That is question number 10. Question number 10 from your book. Let me take. Find the area. It is given. Let me write. Find the area. Find the area of a parallelogram. Find the area of a parallelogram. My dear student, it is very simple question. Parallelogram whose adjacent sides are determined by the vectors. Determined by the vectors. Let me take. By vector A will be equal to, vector A is I minus j and plus 3k. This is vector A, and vector B will be equal to vector B, that is 2i minus j and plus k. These are the two vectors. My dear students, you can write this is vector B and this is vector A. Okay, same thing. We are going to find out the area of this parallelogram. Already I told you the formula using, but first of all, when you find out the solution, first of all you find out the cross product of these two vectors. And cross product you can find out, you write it in the form of determinant, which you have studied in the first chapter. Scalar coefficient of I, j, k, 1, minus 1, 3. 2, minus 1, 1. Okay, its value you will have to find out. Okay, what will be its value? For I, leave this column and this row. See, concentrate over here. Leave this column and this row. That will be minus 1. Negative into negative, positive. It will be 1 into 3. That will be 3. Okay, this thing will be its value, because I told you already, you delete this column and this row. Multiply the numbers. Minus 1 and negative into negative, positive. I have taken minus j. You will take, delete this column and this row. 1 into 1, 1. And minus 6. And plus k, you see. K, delete this column and this row. This will be minus 1 and plus 2. This thing, minus 1 and plus 2. It will be equal to, it will be 2i and plus 5j, because 1 minus 6, that is minus 5, negative into negative, positive 5j, and plus how much? K. My dear student, you must have to find out its magnitude, because magnitude will be required. Its magnitude will be equal to square, sum of the squares of the scalar component of I, j, k, 2 square plus 5 square plus 1 square. Okay, it will be equal to 4 plus 25 and plus 1. It will be equal to root 30. Root 30 will be there. Okay. Area of the parallelogram. Area of a parallelogram. Just before I told you, area of parallelogram. Parallelogram. It will be equal to, just before I told you, magnitude of A cross B. It will be equal to magnitude of A cross B, already I got, that is root 3. Square units, because area is given, that is why you write square units. Unit may be whatever it may be, but this thing you must have to keep in mind, my dear student. It is the question related with the area of the parallelogram, that is very simple. In the simplest way you can find out its value. Now let me take the area of the triangle similarly, and we will take the question, because very simple and very important things I am telling. Generally the questions asked in the different types of examination. Okay, let me take, here it is, let me find out area of the triangle whenever the similar kind of, actually generally you know that area of the triangle will be half of the parallelogram, but मैं इसको अलग से ही बताऊंगा, मैंने ऐसा नहीं किया. half of the parallelogram, half of area of the half of the parallelogram, that is area of the triangle. यानी कि इसका हाफ कर दोगे ना, मैग्नीट्यूड का, मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ a क्रॉस b, इसका हाफ कर दीजिए आप, that will be area of the triangle. but मैं separately बताऊंगा आपको, I will tell you the separately figure, because you see same figure I am taking, मैंने थोड़ा सा ही रिमूव किया. देखिए, this is b and that is point C. Suppose this is point C. Okay, same figure I have taken, OB and BC and OC. Find the area. Let me write here. Find the area. Find the area. Find the area of triangle. Triangle. If you see vector A and vector B are non-zero and non-parallel vectors. Vector A and B are non-zero and non-parallel vectors. Find the area. You will have to find out the area. And you see, let theta is the angle. Solution. Let theta be the angle. Angle between, that is angle between vector A and vector B. Same thing. Vector A and vector B represent the sides which are adjacent sides. OC and OB. And I have drawn perpendicular BD on OC. Okay? Then you see area of the triangle. How you will find out? Same thing, same result I will use, my dear student. That is why you see, मैंने इसलिए इसको एज इट इज छोड़ दिया. I will use this result in the maximum number of questions. This thing. Okay, let me take area of the triangle. Area of triangle. What triangle? OBC. It will be equal to half generally. You use the area of the triangle, half base into height, BD. मैंने देखिए इसको एज इट इज छोड़ दिया था भाई. BD की वैल्यू सेम वैल्यू आई विल पुट, बिकॉज सेम थिंग दैट BD, same thing, BD will be equal to vector B sin theta. Same thing I will use, same result I will use. Okay, and that is why you keep in mind. That is why you see half OC will be equal to what? You can write OC. अभी मैंने लिखा था OC, same thing without changing anything. OC and BD, you write BD will be vector B sin theta. It will be equal to half vector A and vector B sin theta. मैंने देखिए पहले बता दिया था आपको, क्योंकि दोनों साइड का मैंने मैग्नीट्यूड लिया है, यहाँ पे वेक्टर यूनिट वेक्टर से मल्टीप्लाई किया हुआ है. इट इज मल्टीप्लाई बाय द यूनिट वेक्टर एज पर द कंडीशन. ओके, और जब आप इसका मैग्नीट्यूड लोगे तो यूनिट दोनों साइड का मैग्नीट्यूड लेने से क्या होगा? व्हाट विल हैपन? मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द यूनिट वेक्टर दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 1. दैट इज व्हाई इट्स वैल्यू विल बी इक्वल टू दिस वन. Its value will be equal to what? You write. Its value will be same thing. I am just going to use. This is area of the triangle, my dear student. It is the formula of the area of the triangle. मैंने बताया था ना, इसी को चाहे तो कंप्लीट कर लीजिए. पैरेललोग्राम आ गया. सबसे पहले आप एरिया ट्राइंगल का निकाल लीजिए, फिर पैरेललोग्राम का निकाल दीजिए. ट्राइंगल के एरिया को डबल कर दीजिए, यू विल गेट द एरिया ऑफ द पैरेललोग्राम. पैरेललोग्राम के एरिया को हाफ कर दीजिए, यू विल गेट द एरिया ऑफ द ट्राइंगल. सेम थिंग, सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ थिंग. Okay, let me take the question from your book, which is find the area of the triangle. What triangle? Area of the triangle with vertices vertices are given with vertices A. Vertex A is given, my dear student, that is 1, 1, 2. Vertex B is given, B is 2, 3 and 5. Vertex C is given, that is 1 and 5 and 5. 5 and 5. Most important goes, let me take the solution, my dear student. Let me take, this is a triangle whose vertices are given A, B and C. A, B, vector A, point A, vertex 1, 1, 2. And B that is 2, 3 and 5. And C that is 1, 5 and 5. Most important question I am telling you. And let the angle between, because here it is given, find the area of the triangle with vertices. Vertices are given, but we will be needed the angle between angle ABC. Let angle ABC will be equal to theta. Most important thing I am telling you. But before that, you must have to find out the value of AB and AC. Now find AB vector and AC vector. How you will find out the AB and AC vector? Then you find out the position vector. First of all, position vector of A. देखो, position vector of A, that is OA. Position vector. It will be equal to what? I. You see the components J plus 2K. Position vector of B point, that is position vector of B point. I have discussed a lot in detail regarding the position vector, polar projection and direction cosine, direction ratios, everything I discussed in my previous videos. Okay, that is why you can see 2I, देखिए यहाँ पर 2, 3, 5 है ना, 2I plus 3J plus 5K. Position vector of the C point, my dear student, that is I plus 5J and plus 5K. These are the position vectors. Okay, let me find out AB first of all, because AB will be required. AB means this side, AB. Vector AB means, I told you, position vector of B minus position vector of A. Position vector already I have given, that is OB, 2I plus 3J plus 5K. Minus position vector of A, that will be I plus J plus 2K. My dear student, a little calculation is required. 2I plus 3J plus 5K. Minus I, minus J and minus 2K. It will be equal to, देखिए, 2I minus I, that is I. Okay, and after that you see 3J minus J, that is plus 2J. 5K minus 2K plus 3K. This is the value of AB vector. Similarly, you will have to find out, let me find out here itself. Position vector means value of AC. We got the value of AB, AC you will find out. AC. Let me take its magnitude, because magnitude will also be required. Okay, let me get it later on, because I will find out the first of all the cross product AC position vector of the C point minus position vector of A point. OC will be equal to I plus 5J plus 5K. This is OC. And minus what? Let me take minus here. Minus OA, I plus J and plus 2K. Yes, I plus 5J plus 5K and minus I minus J and minus 2K. My dear student, its value will be I minus I, 0I. 5J and minus J, plus 4J. And 5K minus 2K plus 3K. Okay, you must have to keep in mind, because already I have mentioned each and everything. That is why you see. Now I will find out the value of what? AB vector cross product with AC vector. Because then only you can find out area of that triangle. Because this will be required. Okay, this thing will be required. And let me find out I, J and K. I, J, K. You see, you must have to write the components, scalar components of ijk. In the first row, you will have to write ijk, and first of all, you see the component of ijk 1, 2, 3, and after that 0, 4, and 3. Okay, my dear student, you see, first of all, for I, leave this column and this row, that will be 6. 6 minus 12. Minus j, leave this column and this row, 3 minus 0. And plus k unit vector. Leave this column and this row. You see clearly, this row and this column. It will be 4 minus 0. Then you got 6 minus 12, that is minus 6i. And it will be minus 3j and plus 4k. My dear student, now you find out its magnitude. Let me take the magnitude here. I am just going to find out the magnitude. Now, magnitude of A, B cross AC. Its magnitude will be, repeatedly I am telling you, this will be square root of sum of the square of the components of ijk minus 6 square plus minus 3 square and plus 4 square. That will be 36 plus 9 and plus 16. My dear student, it is, I think, 61, root 61. And area of the triangle, what triangle? ABC, ABC. It will be equal to half, and magnitude, same thing, AB cross product with AC. Its magnitude. Then what will be its area? My dear student, you see, its area will be half of root 61. Square units. Square units. This is the area. This is the area of this triangle, you see. It is the area of this triangle. Most important thing. I discussed the two things, area of the parallelogram, area